Hello everybody and welcome to a new video, and this one's going to be again about that epic Green Day box set for Nimrod for the 25th anniversary of the album that was just recently announced and is going to come out early next year. And by the way, my last video is all about that box set, so in case you haven't checked it out, go back to my last video where I talk about the news, about what we know about the release, and I share my thoughts about the box set itself. But in this video, I wanted to mention one more thing about that box set, which I forgot to mention in my last video. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share my Nimrod era collection from Green Day. So I'm going to share the records on vinyl and on CD that I have from 1997 and 1998 from Green Day, from that era. There's going to be full-length albums and singles as well. So stay tuned for that. But for now, let's talk a little bit more about that great box set that was announced. Again, Nimrod 25th anniversary, and it's going to have the full-length album. It's going to have a demo album, or a record full of the demo songs. And at the end, it's going to have also a live record, live at the Electric Factory from Philadelphia in 1997. And it looks great. The track list for that concert looks awesome, but I noticed one thing that could potentially be an issue for a lot of Green Day fans out there. And if you look at the track list again, there are 20 songs in the live record, and for the vinyl release, you could assume they're going to have 5 songs in each side of the discs. And if you look closely, the songs Brain Stew and Jaded are tracks number 10 and 11 in that live record. And if that's the case, and if you assume that you're going to have 5 songs in each side of the record, in each side of the discs, that could mean that Brain Stew is going to be the very last song in the side B of disc 1, and Jaded could be the first song in side A of disc 2. I don't know for sure if that's going to be the case because they haven't provided the tracks for each of the discs yet, but that could be the case if that's really how these songs are going to be organized in the records, in the vinyl record. And for a lot of Green Day fans out there, they will know that that could be a really big issue because if you're a Green Day fan, you'll know that Brain Stew and Jaded are 2 songs that always go back to back. In all the cases when they play it live. And that's because they go together. Brain Stew is kind of like a slower burn rock song, and Jaded is a super fast-paced punk rock song. So they always like to play those two songs back to back. And I know that recently, in recent years at least, they have been replacing Jaded with Saint Jimmy from American Idiot, which makes sense because Jaded and Saint Jimmy are very similar as far as the pace of the songs. But back in 1997, there was no Saint Jimmy, so they always had, when they played Brain Stew and Jaded, they always had to play those tracks back to back. And to me, if they do decide to split Brain Stew and Jaded, that's a big problem because that means if you're listening to the record on vinyl, at the end of Brain Stew, you're going to have to not only change the side of the record, but you're going to have to pick up the next disc and play the first track of the new disc or the second disc, which is going to create that gap between Brain Stew and Jaded that could be several seconds, right? And to me, a huge Green Day fan, that's a big deal because those songs are just so tight. The band is so tight when they play those 2 tracks that seconds matter. And that could screw up with the overall tempo of the live record because the live record, to me, it really puts you there. And if there's too much gap in between those 2 songs, that's going to mess up with the overall vibe of the record. And I don't know, that may be a big thing, a big problem for me. And again, that may not be a big issue or an issue at all, because I don't know if that's going to be the case, if that's the way that the songs are going to be split between the records. So it could be that they're going to include Jaded in the same disc as Brain Stew. But I just wanted to mention that in this video just in case, because if you look at the pictures that they provided for the full box set, they have the track list in the booklet for the 25th anniversary for the live record, and they have Brain Stew and Jaded in 2 completely different sides of the booklet. Brain Stew is at the end of the first page, and Jaded is at the top of the second page. So that to me is kind of like a hint that they're really going to be in different discs. I don't know, I hope not, because if that's the case, that to me means that they haven't really paid too much attention to the details in this record and in this box set. It could also potentially mean that maybe the band wasn't involved with the preparation of this box set, which is even a bigger deal for me. The band has to be involved with the artwork, with the song selection, with everything for this box set, especially for the price that they're charging for the 25th anniversary box set. So yeah, those are my thoughts, my final thoughts about what I know so far on the box set. Let's talk a little bit more about Nimrod now, and I'll show you my Nimrod collection. And let's start off with this one, the cassette that started it all. This is the very first, one of the first cassettes that I ever bought. Nimrod, and it came out in 1997. I bought this one pretty much the day that it came out, and I wore this tape out. As you can see, it's really beat up. If I play it now, it sounds a little bit different because it's just so worn out. And here's the J card. It's one of those long ones with additional pictures, and the artwork in this record is really great, with all the lyrics here in the back with kind of like the censored lyrics. And I really loved this picture as well, the band. All the pictures, the band pictures in this era of Green Day are pretty great. So yeah, that's the cassette that I bought, so many years ago. I don't even remember when I bought it. After that, I had to get me a copy on CD. And this is actually the second copy that I have on CD of the standard version of Green Day, of Nimrod, because my first copy was just also very scratched up. And this is the normal US version of the CD from 1997. Here's an additional picture of the band inside the case, or the tray. And the booklet with all the pictures, similar as the one in the cassette, but in CD booklet format. And this one's still pretty easy to find. Sometimes I even see it at thrift stores. It's one of those kind of records or CDs that you always find at used places or thrift stores or used CDs stores. So you can usually find it pretty cheap, in case you're looking for a CD copy of Nimrod. One more CD copy of Nimrod that I bought when I went to Japan. I think it was back in 2013. This is a different kind of like a format for the album, which is in kind of like I'm not sure how you call it, but they made it look like a record, but on CD size and on CD too. So if you look at it, it's kind of like this with the OB strip, CD OB strip. And the back, and of course this being the Japanese edition of the album, it comes with an additional track at the end, and it's for Desensitized, I believe. The OB is all in Japanese, so it's kind of hard to tell. But inside, it's kind of like I told you, like a LP. You get a booklet with all the lyrics in Japanese. And the inner sleeve, almost like a vinyl copy, but on CD size. And inside, you'll get the CD, and the CD looks different. The artwork here looks, it has the reprise labels, again, to make it look like a vinyl copy. And yeah, I really love this version because it's just different than what you get here in the US, and it has the extra track. Which, yeah, it is track 19, Desensitized, which the US copies didn't come with that track in the CD. And one more thing to mention, as far as I know, all the versions of Nimrod on CD were also HD CDs. What's the difference? I don't know, but you'll see the logo right there. It's a HD CD. Maybe some audiophiles out there will let me know what the HD CD does, or if there's any difference. But this one is also an HD CD, the one from Japan, and it's called HMCD here, but I think it's the same. So that's my Japanese CD version of Nimrod. This one is the same one that I showed you in my last video. This is the 20th anniversary edition repress of Nimrod. Came out, I believe this one came out in 2019. And it has the gatefold with the lyrics and the picture of the band. No insert on this one, but the vinyl came in on double LP, 2 discs. There's the hype sticker, which I also showed you in the last video. It came in on color vinyl with the Nimrod labels, the custom labels. There's the disc 1. And the second disc, like I showed you in my last video, comes with the music in one side and etching here on the other side with the Green Day logo from the era. So a really killer repress of Nimrod on vinyl. Like I mentioned in my last video, I did not have Nimrod on vinyl when this one came out, and when it was announced, of course, I had to buy it. Just as an excuse, like, to own it on vinyl, I guess. But it's a really good pressing. It's very quiet. It's a really great pressing of Nimrod. Again, from the 20th anniversary of the album. And that's actually the only vinyl that I have in my collection from Nimrod era, because moving into the singles, as far as I know, they only released one single for Nimrod on vinyl, which is Redundant, which I do not own in my collection. That's the only one that I'm really missing on vinyl in my collection, and it's something that I'm really missing, that I need to get for my Green Day collection. But maybe someday I'll own it and I'll update this video. But I do have all the singles on CD format, so all CD singles. And let's start off with the very first single from Nimrod, Hitchin' a Ride. And this is the Australian version of the single. Came in with a couple of extra tracks, Sick of Me, which they, I guess, incorrectly called it Sick here in the track list, and Espionage. So both songs, or both of the B-sides, were previously unreleased at that point, but they both came out on the B-side compilation Shenanigans from 2001, I think. And the Australian version of the CD didn't come with any artwork in the actual CD, and it just came in on like a cardboard sleeve like that. Then I also got 3 different versions of the single for Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. Let's start off with this one. This is the US version of the first part of the CD single for Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. And I also came in on just a standard sleeve, cardboard sleeve. And this one has Good Riddance, it has Suffocate, and You Lied. The 2 B-sides came out also on Shenanigans from 2001. And the CD, just a standard blue. So this is part 1 of the CD single, US version. This is part 2 of the CD single, but this is the UK version. As you can see, made in the UK. And this one's really cool. There's the back, because it kind of comes with a die cut there in the center. So Billy's eyes pop out like that. And this is kind of like also a cardboard sleeve with the green CD. And yeah, there's the inside sleeve. And this one comes with Good Riddance. And the B-sides are Desensitized and Rotting. And the two B-sides also were released in the B-side compilation Shenanigans. But I really like this one. I'm going to have to try to get part 1 of the single, but on the UK version, just so I can have both versions of the die-cut format of the single. And lastly, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, Japanese edition, just in a standard CD case. And this one comes with 4 tracks: Good Riddance, Rotting, Suffocate, and You Lied. And all the 3 B-sides were also included in the Shenanigans B-side compilation. And that might be the case that a lot of the B-sides from this record were not included in the box set, because most of the B-sides came out already on the compilation record. And this one's still sealed. I got it not too long ago, so I'm going to keep it sealed for now in my sealed CD collection. The next single was Redundant, and I got the 2 different versions of the single on CD, the green and blue one. They're both made in England, I believe, so they're UK imports. I can't remember which one is part 1 and part 2, because there's different tracks in here. So I think this one is part 1, the green one, but I could be wrong. And it comes with Redundant, Reject All American, which is they messed up the name again on the song was called just Reject on Nimrod, but for some reason they call it Reject All American here on the track list. And the third song is She, played live. Both of the B-sides. There could actually be 2 of the songs that they're going to include in that live record from the box set. I'm not really sure. Actually, just realized that. And yeah, they actually are. It says recorded live November 14, 1997, and the Electric Factory in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So those 2 songs, or at least 2 of those songs from the live album, were already included in the single for Redundant. That's quite interesting. I didn't realize that at the time that I made the video yesterday. So those are 2 of the tracks from the live record. Again, Reject and She, as well as the Richard Dot medium wide mix for Redundant. Great track. This is actually one of my favorite songs from the record as well, Redundant. And part 2 of the single is this one in the blue cover. And this one comes also with 3 songs, Redundant, The Grouch live, and Paper Lanterns live. 2 more songs from that Electric Factory record that's going to come out early next year in the box set. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be from Philadelphia too. Yeah, I recorded at Electric Factory in Philadelphia, 1997. And there it is. So I already have 4 songs out of the 20 that's going to be included in the live record. And I still love the artwork for the singles and for the record from the Nimrod era. Great artwork. And I actually have one more version of the single for Redundant on CD. I believe this one is, I forgot I even had this one. This one I think is from Australia, if I remember correctly. No, that's actually the US version, made in the USA. Redundant, also from 1997. And this one only has 1 track, just the single for Redundant. And it has the same artwork here in the CD. And this one's back from when CD singles were still a big thing. And they had pretty creative kind of designs for the CD singles. And the actual case came in with this clear picture of the band. I don't know how you'll be able to see it there. Let me show it to you like this. But it's really cool. Really cool single. And this one's pretty easy to get also on eBay. So when you put it together like this, it looks green instead of blue. And it kind of has like a little effect there on the cover. So yeah, you can still find plenty of copies of this one for really cheap on eBay. So yeah, Redundant from 97. And finally, one more single from Nimrod. Nice Guys Finish Last. A fantastic opening track for the record. And this one still has the hype sticker, and it says Nice Guys Finish Last from the movie Varsity Blues. I forgot that it was also included in that soundtrack from the album Nimrod, also featuring 3 live recordings, including Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. So I actually have 5 songs from the live record, because this one has 3 live songs, but I think 2 of them were already included in the ones from Redundant, if I remember correctly. This one has, The Grouch and Paper Lanterns and Reject and She. And this one has Good Riddance, that last song, and Grouch and She, which were already included in the singles for Redundant. So yeah, I already have 5 songs from that live record out of the 20. Still looking forward to listening to the other ones though. There's the CD. And this one, for some reason, it came with 2 J-card booklets for some reason. I don't know why. Somebody in the factory must have messed up, but they look the same, with a picture of the band and the track list here. Again, Nice Guys finished last. And yeah, it also came out in, well, this one actually came out in 1999. So the last single for the album also actually came out almost 2 years after Nimrod came out, which is, I didn't realize that. And yeah, this one is from Australia copy of the CD. And also the live tracks are from the Electric Factory recording from Philadelphia in 1997. Again, Nice Guys finished last. And those are all the singles that I believe were included. I may be missing some, but as far as I know, those are all the ones that were released. But if you have other ones, let me know in the comments if I'm missing some in my collection. I would love to hear about that. I'm for sure missing that Redundant single on vinyl on 7-inch that came out during that era, which I'm still going to try to find. I think I looked for it a while ago and it was just too expensive, so I didn't want to spend the money. But someday I will own it in my collection. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share for you in this video. I hope you're as excited as me about that box set and about listening to those live tracks as well as to the demo songs. Really looking forward to that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.